I'm just playing with this for the first time. So I didn't even get to put a title in on this video. So Operation, oh, okay. Nobody's watching me. I could maybe share this to X. So what if, oh, I got somebody watching and I got a thumbs up. Thank you. What if Canada is really Ukraine in the comms? And what if Ukraine is the loud story and Canada is the silent grab? And what if that executive order that Trump issued, I think it's Executive Order 138034, which in the event of election interference, the United States can seize assets. Well, what if all of these mining companies in Canada, like Rio Tinto, and there's a whole bunch of French mining companies, what if they're in trouble right now? And what if basically what's happening at the Ukraine summit yesterday is that they're actually negotiating regarding the rare earth minerals in Canada? And when Trump said that he wants a $500 billion settlement, he's basically wanting some kind of a chattel on maybe somebody's companies, or like, in other words, try to think outside the box, because none of the talking heads are really looking at it from the angle that I'm looking at it, because, well, like Tom Luongo says, he doesn't want to jinx it, right? But what if when the premiers went down to Washington, they signed a memorandum of understanding, and so that every territory in Canada is now kind of negotiating to come up with some kind of a annexation agreement. And the ultimate, and I think there's a deadline too, like it's possible that March the 4th, which is the end of the prorogue, or is that March 24th? We have a deadline coming up on March the 4th. Actually, that might be when they're going to have their leadership campaign for the Liberal Party, and March 24th is when the prorogue is going to end. So, because right now our government is prorogued, just like, and Justin is kind of like a very unpopular leader, just like Zelensky, and he's basically unelected. So they have a timetable, and that kind of goes along with Danielle Smith's comms the other day, that her dog comms that she sent out for her dog Kane, who she had for 17 years, and it was 6,216 days. And it's a Labrador poodle that died, and you can tell that one of the photos is completely photoshopped of the dog. And another photo, she's got her face buried into the dog. And so what if she's got a new handler? And what if, I know these are a lot of what ifs, I know. But I'm a conspiracy theorist, and I just think completely, I just look at everything like, kind of like it's a game. And in Canada, because we are kind of a fake country when you think about it, I mean, we never had any public, decision-making around Confederation. It wasn't voted on. We didn't get to vote on the Constitution Act of 1982. We didn't get to vote on Quebec being a distinct society. They tried and tried to ram that through, and basically it failed with Meech Lake Accord and Charlottetown Accord. it's the way the Confederation is set up. It's totally unfair. It favors the Laurentian elites. And there are a lot of parallels, okay, between our situation in Canada and Ukraine. And the Ukraine war started at the exact same time as the Freedom Convoy happened. So we have these parallel situations between Canada and Ukraine. So I think that there's a lot of negotiating going on, and I also think it's possible that there are hidden threats that we don't know about. And I think Europe is the agitator and trying to keep their foot in the door in Canada, and it's not going very well for them. And ultimately, I think that Trump and America, they obviously have the upper hand, and it's a new kind of politics. Like, for example, Canada hitched their wagon up to the globalists with Pierre Elliott Trudeau, and they have been playing the consensus politics game. And I got this from Tom Luongo. And so that game is that everybody is, chirping as a consensus block. So the rules-based international order, everybody agrees in harmony with one another, and they all in lockstep together, right? But now it's a new game. It's called power politics. And so although they can have alliances like Trump and Putin and Trump and Xi Jinping, they are acting unilaterally with power for their own people, like tariffs, for example, and Doge and everything that's going on there. Whereas Canada is still in bed. Well, I mean, by the looks of it, but who knows if it's true or not. But it appears that our politicians are all kind of wrapped up in bed with the crown and with the European crowns and with Davos and with the EU. And and so and it's dangerous for them. Like, it's very dangerous for Ottawa, because I feel like Ottawa has been a captured pawn for over 200 years. And I think that pretty much everybody who's in politics in Canada, they have somebody that handles them all the time. They just do as they're told. And we have been shipping hundreds and hundreds, probably trillions of dollars offshore for climate, carbon, gender advisories. I mean, we've been robbed, right? We've been robbed. So in the new era in the world, the coming golden age for America, there's no room for middle powers that are gobbled up by other powers like Canada is right now with the Europeans. And they have to send signals to each other about what they're doing. And they do it through the press, through stories. And in the Q drops, it says that double meanings exist. So in other words, Ukraine has double meanings. North Korea has double meanings. And even the sum of all fears, it has a double meaning. So what if the threats that were here were neutralized during the COVID pandemic by the military, with the US military, and now what they're doing is they're trying to make a deal. And I don't think that Europe will ever recover, or if they ever do, it'll be for a long, long time from now. But in the meantime, Canada is this magnificent jewel, and very, very important. And actually, Russia is very aligned with America, and we are very close to Russia, like the Bering Strait. Like, we're practically neighbors to Russia. We're neighbors to Russia. We're neighbors to America. So they're aligning their power politics against Europe. So, for example, Putin came out yesterday and said that he can supply America with all the steel they need, or the aluminum that they want. Well, that's what Quebec ships out to America, is aluminum. That's one of their cards in the game. So they're undermining Quebec. They're basically canceling them out in their leverage. And Quebec is going to have a really hard time with all of this. They'll probably be the biggest, stone in everyone's shoe, trying to get them to come to the table and make a deal. So that's probably a lot more than I wanted to say for my first live stream, but I just wanted to come out and try this out because I haven't done it yet on this channel, and I'm surprised I still have a YouTube channel, to be honest with you, but so far I haven't had a strike or anything, so that's it. I'm going to let it go with that. Just think about Canada in the news right now when they're talking about Ukraine. Just flip it around and make it Canada. And here's another thing. I don't believe the news about Ukraine. Like, I don't see any proof of 1.8 million people dead. I don't see anything. There's no journalists reporting on the war. I don't see any destruction. I'm sure there was a war there, but particularly for the Donetsk and Lugansk regions. Absolutely, I think there probably was, but not to the extent that is being reported. I think Zelensky, he's just a little puppet doing what he's told, and when his time is done, he'll disappear. Right now, though, for whatever reason, the negotiations, like, it's not that easy. Like, Trump is trying to make a deal, I guess, and I don't know why they can't just wrap it up. And what bothers me about it is that the Canadian people don't have a say. Like, we're not being consulted about this, and we're not being told what's really happening. And I don't think that's, well, like, we can't vote our way from the crown. The way the Queen set it up, we need unanimous consent by every national legislation, like all the provinces have to agree, the Senate has to agree, all 338 MP, like, it has to be unanimous. That's never going to happen. We'll never ever get that done. It's set up to be like that. And finally, I'll just say, if you really want to have a glimpse of what's really going on behind the scenes, you need to watch that show H2O, and you need to watch Trojan Horse, which is not that easy to find, but I will later post a link in the description because it lays it out. It lays it out exactly what's happening. And it's very interesting because one of the things that the Prime Minister says in that show is that Canada is not a legitimate country. It's very interesting. All right, I've never even gone out of live stream, so I'm going to let you go, and bye for now.